What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So tonight we actually have a special episode with our buddy Crypto Savy, who honestly has been absolutely smashing it lately, and I just had to get this guy on the channel. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on and talk about crypto and TA and what got you into the space and everything else, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I watched your channel a lot before I started my channel and stuff, and actually the gold chart I got off of your channel. You had posted a Twitter post a while back, and that's where I started looking into that. You posted one little thing on your video, and then I just started digging into it, and it became amazing. And how I got into crypto was I used to play in penny stocks, and there was chat rooms in the penny stock rooms, and people would talk about, you know, what penny stocks to get into and out of, and the penny stocks started kind of dying off, and people started talking about crypto in the rooms. And it was early 2017 when I switched over to crypto, and I've been in it ever since. I love it, man.
Mm-hmm. So you've done TA before this. You've been doing this.
Yeah, I kind of switched it up. I just played breakouts doing penny stocks. That was it. I didn't really know much TA. I just did breakouts, period.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you've had really good luck, though. Like I said, I mean, I've been watching your channel, which, by the way, that's really interesting that I actually went to your channel for the gold chart. But the reason that you started looking at the gold chart is because I mentioned it once, which is really funny how we even came to this point right here.
Yeah.
But like as far as crypto, what got you into it, and like specifically, why do you chart Litecoin and Bitcoin mostly? That's really all you chart. Why did you choose just those two?
Litecoin was the first one I bought. That was the first one I got on Coinbase, bought it, didn't know really what was going on. It's, you know, the bull run started, everybody thought they were going to be rich, and I was thinking, you know, I hit the jackpot too, whatever. And come February, when it started coming down, I didn't even own any Bitcoin. And then I had another friend online say, he kept posting charts about Elliott wave theory and stuff, and I was actually pretty rude to him. And then he talked me into trying, and we started trying it. I started trying a little day trading, and then I started studying other stuff, Wyckoff method and things like that. And I kind of came up with my own method because I don't really day trade. I do longer swing trades, and it's been working out awesome.
Yeah, I know. Like I've been watching the channel. So actually, I was wondering, could we kind of like bring up the chart right now, because I wanted you to sort of talk about your different styles of TA, because I noticed it's almost a very simple way you do it. It's just mostly resistance. You do some moving averages, trend lines. And so
that's pretty much about it. Measured moves, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with these markets too, is a lot of the things with the bots out there, the bots aren't reading patterns. They're not reading fractals. They're reading supports, resistances. They're reading numbers, just levels is really all they're looking at. Right.
Yep. Yeah. And, not that I have anything against all the, I guess it depends on what kind of trading you're doing, but I don't really, I don't use any indicators because I think it's more confusion. I mean, I guess some of the day traders get good at it and stuff, but like I said, I don't day trade. And it's basically like, it's just like playing a penny stock. I mean, that's how this is acting pretty much, to be honest. And the funny thing is, Bitcoin, most patterns play out just like they're supposed to. And people talk about manipulation and all that stuff. I want to go into let's go into the daily. I just wanted to point out, one of the big things here is the hidden bullish divergence here, where you're getting higher lows in the price action and lower lows in the RSI. And we had been looking at that on my channel for quite a while now, but let's go to the daily and just take a look at I had this trend line drawn way back in here, just off these three peaks here, and we ended up, using that. But that's, if you look at basically this is how I chart, man. I just do measured moves off of all the channels, the triangles, and the more you go into the chart.
I see you had those ascending broadening wedges that everybody was looking at back in the day. Yeah.
And then just like right now, I have this triangle drawn in here that we're inside. And I did a post on Twitter a little while ago, and I sent you a link too. But if you look, there's some serious hidden bullish divergence here on this. Let me get these ones out of your way so it's a little bit cleared up for you.
Yeah, we're definitely coiling up for something. I'll tell you that, man, because
it's actually popping out right now if you see it. See how the RSI is popping out of the falling wedge here, right there. We're not out of the triangle yet, but that's
we're actually moving right now.
Yeah, that's a good sign that, like I said, we could get up, wake up in the morning and be up 13 or even more. But that's my measured move is 13 after the breakout of here.
So you think if we break out to the upside, we're hitting 13K?
I do think we're hitting 13K. I'm almost
soon,
positive,
at least a couple days, or how soon?
It could be this weekend, man. I really think it could be this weekend as soon as, possibly tonight. If this is the trend line right here that we need to break, and that's the top of that bull flag. Let me get the RSI off there real quick. But that's the big bull flag right here. If we can break up above this trend line right on the top there, we're heading to 13. Well, obviously, if you know about breakouts, it usually pops up and it'll come back down and retest it again before moving. And a lot of people will wait for that. It doesn't always happen, so I usually don't wait for it. But, usually if you break this trend line here on top of this bull flag, it may get up to, let me see something real quick. I'll do a little measured move off of that triangle, just see what that looks like. If we break up from this triangle, it's just, and yeah, see, so that lines up right in this area, and that's if we were to break out down here. But you can see these 3 trend lines I have in here, and we're staying within those. And a measured move off of that would be just measuring wherever we break out up here out of this top line. That's what we would use for our next resistance. And obviously, if I'm sure you're familiar with my higher targets and how I get them.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about that. I think that's pretty much what got everybody's attention because, everyone knows that Bitcoin's going to, I am pretty sure it's going to go higher. But you're calling for 46,000 maybe by the end of this year.
Yeah, that's this chart. That's that gold. This is the Bitcoin daily chart, and we'll click over to the gold daily chart in a minute. But yeah, this is my target for the end of the year, 46,000.
Now let's talk about that. How are we going to get to 46,000 realistically? Now I've watched you. I know what you're talking about, but some people on the channel may not have any idea how you're coming up with this crazy high number.
So if everybody takes a good look at what's going on here, we have the bull flag that we're in now. And you notice this white trend line right here from these 2 points. Actually, it's 3 points of support from the old bear market. I also have the blue line drawn down here, which was old support. And if we look down at the bottom, this long-term trend line, you have 2 touches on the bottom before breaking through the big wedge with the trend lines from these peaks to where right before we broke down at 6,000. So if you just take a look at that real quick, let me get this one out of the way real quick. But anyways, now I'm gonna click over to the gold chart and just look at the resemblance. A pattern's a pattern. And it's amazing. This pattern it's playing out beautifully. And I started following it in January, and that's right when you posted that Twitter post. So if you go back, it's pretty funny.
I don't even remember doing that, which is hilarious. It was probably just something I randomly saw and was like, "Hey guys, what do you think about this conspiracy?" And then it forgot about it.
Yeah, even he did, because I followed him on his Twitter. And he never said anything about it again. And I'm thinking, why did he just let that go? But as soon as I seen it, I just dug into the charts. I was like, this is amazing. And that was way back here. And, I don't know how when you started watching me, but I called this all the way up. And I did the same thing in Litecoin. People were, bad talking me and this and that, but it's playing out. It's still playing out beautifully. But if you notice, like I said, the blue trend line, then we got the white one here. And if you look at how this played with the white trend line and then go back over to the Bitcoin chart, it's exactly the area we're playing out. And I'd said I've been saying this since we were down in here, that once we cross back above this line, I think that's it. I think this will hold no matter what for now on. I really don't see us going back.
Yeah, you've definitely been super bullish for sure. Yeah. But some of these lower targets, what do you think about these? I hear guys calling for some crazy, ridiculous lows. Is this just FUD? Or are they just trying to what do you think's going on with that?
The market takes bears and bulls to work. If everybody was in the same position, that there wouldn't be a market.
Right.
I just think certain people really believe that bearish scenario. And I don't happen to be one of them, and I'm pretty sure you're not either.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
I've been in bear mode, since the top of 20K all the way down to 3. I'm ready to go the other way, man. So I'm definitely seeing a change in sentiment, a change in fundamentals. There's so much. I mean, this 2019, in my opinion, is nothing like 2017. And
no.
it's more sophisticated this time. People aren't just throwing money at any coin that they see this time around. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and I think that's a lot of the push on Bitcoin. That's why the alts aren't doing so well anymore. And the news is talking about it too as a store of value now. I don't know if you've seen that on CNBC, but they're actually starting to call it a store of value. I mean, it's up there with gold and everything else. So that's huge, man. That's huge. There's
now when you're now getting back to the chart super quick, when you're talking about this crazy, how are you getting this? What's making you think that it's going to happen by the end of the year? Because you're on 2 completely different charts. You're on the, daily for Bitcoin, but what are you on, the weekly for gold?
Yeah, I'm on the weekly for gold, but remember, a pattern's a pattern, and that's how they play out. And if you look at how I've got them adjusted here, I mean, it's almost exact, and it hits up right in this area. And like I said, it's never going to be exact, but this gives us a hell of an idea. And if we go back over to Bitcoin, right in that same area, that's going to be right around the 17th of December, believe it or not. But I mean, obviously that date's probably not going to be exact, and there's no guarantee this is going to happen, but it's definitely looking pretty damn good. And and like you said, the way the sentiment and everything else is right now.
And what's your thoughts on what, the futures gap? Remember how we were just looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and we never closed it? I mean, I'm starting to think maybe we won't. Maybe we don't have to.
Yeah, if you read up on gaps, there are certain gaps that don't need to be filled. And another thing is, this is a whole different realm with the CMEs only being open, normal hours like stock market. And then you got crypto that's open 24/7. There's never been anything like that. So it's kind of uncharted territory. And I don't see them gaps getting closed. I don't see any reason for it.
So you're definitely thinking that the next move is probably going to be up.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a potential, we still could retest some of these because there is still this triangle. I don't know if you see it that we're in. We just broke above it. And basically what was acting as the resistance is now sort of the support right now. At least that's what I have on my end. But,
what time frame are you talking about?
Well, on my chart, we look at the 4 hours. That's what I was looking at too. You're looking at Coinbase. Oh, so it lines up pretty well on yours then.
Yeah.
At the top. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that's why you're saying that we're looking for a breakout really soon, maybe by this weekend, and your target is 13K. Now, I did want to ask you a question because I saw something that you said in a video, and you said that what did you say? You said, show me the news and I'll show you like the chart or something like that.
Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news.
There you go. Yeah. So you don't believe that really news has any effect whatsoever. I mean, it's more of just a justification of why we did what we did.
I honestly do. I mean, obviously news means something, it gets people aware of things and whatnot, but I cannot think of his name right now, but there is a famous investor from back in, I think, the 20s or 30s. And he used to say that, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. And he would tell you like when big events were about to happen because he seen it in the charts and there was going to be big moves. And I don't know if you've seen any of the videos where I was putting on my thumbnail, huge news coming, because I seen the run come in and I figured it would be ETF or something, but nobody knows. And I mean, I still believe we're going to get some big news.
Maybe Bakkt is just waiting for your December 17th, 46,000 Bitcoin to debut. And that's why they keep pushing back.
Possibly, man, this thing's really getting up there.
Yeah. It's starting to pump. We're up to 11,854. Nice. So I wanted to ask you a question too. Now, considering you used to do penny stocks and stuff like that, what is your sort of end goal? It's because it's tough. I talk to some people and they're like, yeah, I trade, but then I instantly just cash out. I just want the dollars. I mean, are you looking as Bitcoin as an actual hedge against the dollar? Is it something that you believe in, that you'd want to stay in long term? Or is it just like, I just go where the money's at and then I cash out? Like, what is your like long-term goal?
I believe in Bitcoin. I really believe in Bitcoin. And I tell people that follow me and in the Discord and stuff that I trade with leverage and I take my profits and I just buy more Bitcoin. That's what I do. I'm holding. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a point in the bull run that I'll, when it gets way up there, which I believe it's gonna, and I believe it's possible next year, we get into 6 digits.
The
But,
6 digits, yeah.
I'm sure I'll cash out a little bit, but I'll never sell. I don't ever plan on selling all my Bitcoin. I truly believe it's going to be a store of value, if not, spendable money. So
do you speculate on any altcoins, or it's just Bitcoin, Litecoin? Do you own anything else? Or
I own some shit coins. I got some little bags, but nothing huge. No, I've bought them kind of like a lotto ticket, I guess.
Yeah. No, you never know. I mean, like we had a few of them. They had that Coinbase announcement that came out, and you were seeing all those coins pop 20, 50%. So, if you kind of get in there on those, quick little pops, but it is definitely difficult. And, one of the things for me personally is the lack of liquidity after a while on some of these. You get in cheap and you get so many of them. And let's say that the coin does go up, then you try to sell them. You can't do it without crashing the order books. It's
yeah. And then the same thing happens in penny stocks. You got to make sure there's liquidity, or you just get stuck holding a bunch of crap. But yeah, I mean, I really see a future for Bitcoin big time, and I think everybody else does too. I mean, anybody that has anything to do with money, I mean, they see the value in it. There's no way that they don't. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I figured kind of before we get going, do you want to give us a little bit of not a prediction, but sort of like where we could be heading? And I know you said the 13K move.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else that you see on here that maybe we're missing?
Well, I do believe if we get up to 13K, and like I said, if we come back down, we'll most likely come back down to test, either the top of this rising channel here or the top of this bull flag, which I do believe is a bull flag, and I believe we continue up, and then we're looking at the 1600, and that's just a measured move of the bull flag here, looking at it as a channel, and to where we break out, that gets us to around the 16.3. And if we measure this over here as a bull flag, this whole thing right here as a flagpole, bring it up, and that brings us up to about the 18. So I'm thinking, this month we're most likely, this is my opinion, not financial advice to anybody, but between 16 and 18,000, I really see it by the end of this month.
And I saw something too today. This was the first time I saw it played out like this. I forget who it was on Twitter. They had actually mentioned, if you look at the monthly and you ignore the wicks, because the wicks obviously are showing 20K.
Yeah.
But it actually shows that we had the monthly close. I think it was around 13,000, somewhere between 800, 900. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And you could see, if you look at the wick that we got on the spike that we just had, it pretty much lines up exactly with the close of the top of that candle. You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I'm not sure.
Take that the candle in December. You see where it closed?
Yeah.
Ignoring the wick, and draw a line across, and that's where we wicked to.
Gotcha.
So a lot of, not a lot of people, but one individual seems to think that this is the very important level. And once we cross that level, you're not going to see us pretty much go below that ever again.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. That's going to be huge resistance. And we'll probably come up, and I would imagine that becomes support after that. Yeah, I never noticed that. Thanks for pointing that out.
I just found it out today, man.
Yeah,
so I'm sharing it with you.
Look at the monthly, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? Sometimes you do have to zoom out, and I tell people that because, you get on those crap trader time frames, they call them. You get down on the 45 minutes, and it just looks like absolute madness. And then you pull back, and you're like, oh, everything's fine. This is great. This is a beautiful chart. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you could see things that you don't normally see because, it's like the twilight zone on those low time frames. You start finding every pattern.
Yeah, I'm in some chats, and you'll see people get, oh my God, it's moving, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. And it's like, zoom out a little bit, man. Get out of the 15-minute charts. And
And before we go, man, I wanted to just say one thing. I really do respect what you got going. You have this sort of free content only thing.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if maybe you could just sort of, explain what you mean by free content only and what your motto behind this is.
Well, before I started my channel, I was watching, a lot of these guys charging for courses and that. And I mean, they're not just charging a couple $100. A lot of these guys are just outrageous amounts of money. And it's, I learned this stuff just by finding information on the internet, putting it together, trying different things, putting them together, kind of creating my own style. Everybody's style is going to be different. It depends on, how much time you have, if you want to do it full time, if you're going to day trade, if you're going to swing trade. and they're always teaching the same thing. But basically, they're just paying a shitload of money for stuff you can find for free on the internet. They're just all they are is teaching you the basics. You're never going to become a good trader by watching some tutorials. It comes with practice.
I think sometimes people, I mean, as far as the tutorials is one thing, but I think it's that people just don't have the time. So they just sort of put their faith in another individual to give signals, you know, and.
But if you don't have the time, you're probably never going to get anywhere. You got to put time in something to get good at it. You know that. I mean,
exactly. I mean, listen, I trade on leverage, you know, once in a while. If I see a good setup, I use Bybit, but you know, dollar cost averaging still is the greatest strategy. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with buying a little high, buying a little low, buying a little bit in the middle. And you know, if you see a good setup, you know, go for it. But, you know, don't over leverage, don't wreck yourself, and don't be gambling, you know, on all of these, you know, this coin's, this token's going to 100x. And
yeah,
what is his incentive for telling you that? You know, why are these people saying the things they're saying? You know, a lot of people need to do their own research and look into this. And I think that was one of the biggest problems in 2017 was just the absolute speculation on everything.
Yeah.
And it was just,
I was caught up in it. I thought it was going to go forever. I'll admit it. I mean, and you ask about the Bears and the Bulls. How long did it take after we hit the top and started coming down? Did you become bearish? At what point?
I'm not sure I ever became bearish. Yeah. I think I was just.
But you thought it was just a bunch of corrections on the way down, right? And that's kind of, I think, how the Bears get, because they're still counting on that lower low, and it's hard to switch over from one to the other.
I think the biggest like OMG moment was when we'd had that crazy drop off in November, because I really thought that we had pretty much bottomed out.
I did too.
I was convinced we had bottomed out. So
that was an ugly day, man.
Yeah, it was, dude. Actually, that day was dark. I questioned whether or not I could continue to be a YouTuber anymore. I was like, I may have to go get a job.
Yeah, people kept saying they needed more pain. I thought I had plenty of pain at that point.
Yeah. So awesome, man. Definitely awesome. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on the channel. Thank you so much. It's been a nice journey. You know, first time I ever met you was actually in the comments of my own videos, and you'd always be like, "Hey, check out my chart, and I didn't even know like who this guy was. And so finally, you know, I head over here and I look, and I'm like, wow, this guy, he's actually nailing it over here. So, you know, definitely keep doing your thing. For everybody out there that hasn't checked out Crypto Savvy, definitely get subscribed to the guy. You know, he puts out content every single day, free content only, great Telegram group. So thank you so much, man. Appreciate you coming on the channel.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And to everybody out there, definitely check out Crypto